Back. Hey Will, hey YouTube land. How's it going? This is comic book review aggregation website, right? It's called Comic Book Roundup. Here it is, yeah. And you can go onto the website and go through, 10 or so different reviews on the same comic book normally. And if I look at this book here, cover, Aquaman, what number is it? 25. The long hair and the beard, just like the movie. Yeah, if I go onto the Aquaman 25 bit there, and the critics rating 8.9, right? And if I go through the different reviews here, look at this: 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 9.8, 9.3, 9.1, 9, 8.5. The worst one it got was 7 out of 10. That's from Nerd Church Radio. But yeah, most of the books are, most of the reviews are saying that it's an excellent comic book. A stunner. Intricate pencils bring Atlantis to teeming life. Oh. These comic book reviewers, right? I really, there's no doubt about it in my mind whatsoever now. That the only reason they're doing these comic book reviews is to get Twitter mentions from the writers and artists. How pathetic is that? That you want to get a mention by somebody who's writing Aquaman, like he's some sort of literary mastermind, and he's producing great works of art that will last the generations. Yes, in 2058 we'll be talking about Dan Abnett's Aquaman. Fuck off. Fuck off. No, we won't. Dan Abnett is just a liberal writer who was dealing with the progressive collapse which is happening all over the Western world right now, as the ideological consensus gets wrecked, and the Overton window, which has been on the left for far too long, finally starts to move a little bit, and all the lies of the progressives get exposed as the lives that they are. He was trying to deal with that, right, in his Aquaman comic book. This one here, number 25, marks the moment in time when he completely lost the plot, and he just went straight into full-on everyone who disagrees with me is Nazis, is Hitler kind of mode, which always happens with the left, because they haven't got very good arguments, because they don't have to argue with people, because they get two reactions. They get the reaction from people like me, and they're not going to even debate with people like me, so there's no discussion going on there at all. Or they get the comic book website people who say, you're excellent, you're great, you're brilliant, retweet, and it's just this circle jerk bullshit, so nothing ever changes. But I want to go through Aquaman 25. God, I need a drink of coffee. Hang on. I want to go through Aquaman 25 and point out the tired tropes that Dan Abnett, the great literary mind that he is going through in his Aquaman book, because it was interesting whilst it was dealing with the aftermath of Trump getting elected in America. And, oh no, what's going to happen now that someone who isn't progressive is in charge? Is he going to deal with it in an intelligent manner and actually look at some of the things which Donald Trump is actually doing? No, he's not going to do that. He's just going to start comparing him to Adolf Hitler. So forget about Donald Trump in this book. Forget about America in this book. All this book is a progressive projecting all his World War II Nazi bullshit into the comic book and portraying anyone who disagrees with him as a Nazi. What I've got here, the liberal checklist. Right, so we've got the bad guy as a dictator. Yes, we need a dictator. There we go. There's the evil dictator. Because remember, anyone who's not progressive is this. I'll just go through them. Wealth confiscation. Of course, that happened in World War II, didn't it? Yeah, they stole the wealth. Yeah, got the wealth confiscation. This hates the poor. Yeah, we've got to hate the poor. Because remember, the progressives are great champions of the poor. So he's going to the there you are. There. He's going to the. This makes no sense. I just thought about it now. He's going to the areas of the town. I was going to say the town, the city, the bottom of the ocean, where the poor people live, and he's confiscating all the the property from the poor people. But when you go to the rich people, isn't that wouldn't the rich people have all the gold and stuff? Why would they have to go to the poor people? Because in today's society, the poor people, they get handouts from the government. They're not actually putting anything in. If I was an evil dictator and I wanted to confiscate everybody's wealth, I would not be going to the slums because there's no wealth there. But in the comic book, he's going to the slums. So he's confiscating the wealth. So it doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Right, here we go. So he's gone to the slums to confiscate the non-existent wealth from the brave people there who are on government handouts. Isolationist. Yeah. The king in this book is all about Atlantis for Atlanteans. I don't want to deal with the outside world. He's an isolationist, therefore he's evil. Because in the liberal, globalist, progressive mindset, anyone who's not after a one-world communist government is an evil isolationist Hitler. So yeah, it's got that in this comic book. Rebels as the cool guys. Yes. He's so sexy. The rebels are cool. Just see the latest Star Wars movie. The lefty rebels are always the cool guys because they want to get the young people in the real world. And if you ever talk to a youngster, being cool is the most important thing in the world. So they always portray their lefty rebels as the coolest guys in town. Han Solo. What else we got? Oh, thugs. Yeah. I'm just an evil thug who wants to steal money from poor people. Okay. So I've talked about that before. Stealing money from the poor people. They haven't got any money to... Calm down. Dan Abnett, the great mind. Crazy tyrant. Yeah, when things go wrong, he's crazy. He's also got a fashy haircut as well. Which is, shaved on the side, a bit on top. So he's Hitler. He's a Nazi. The message about racism. Yeah, we mean that, don't we? Especially today. Right, and sexism. That will be helpful as well. So we got this sexy girl here with a very tight top, and they say to her, "You know the rules. Rejects or taint bloods are forbidden inside the kingdom." Reject or taint blood. But she's just standing up for the people. And look at all those colours behind her. The feminists defending those poor black people. See the poor brown people behind her? Those evil Nazis, they're so racist. So we got the girl, the feminists, protecting the various brown people. And we need the progressive hero as well, don't we? And that's where Aquaman comes in. Here I come, poor people. I'm going to save you from those evil tyrants who are stealing all your government handouts from you. And the last panel of the book, I think it's so telling. This is how progressives like Dan Abnett see themselves. The sexy, cool, rebel heroes of the left, with the pretty girls fighting over them. That's what they want to be. They want to be the heroes, the champions of the poor, oppressed people. But that's what they really want. They really want the girl with the large breasts and the not much clothing on to be fighting over its progressive masculine qualities. So he's got the two girls fighting over him in the next book. That's the end of this comic book. He's fighting for the poor. He's fighting for the oppressed, and he's going to have two sexy girls fighting themselves over who gets to lie down in Aquaman's soggy, prawn-infested bed sheets. So this is Dan Abnett's view of the world, and it's so lazy. It's so dated. It's so out of touch with everything that's happening in the world today. All we can do now, and now that the progressive left has started to crumble around him, and that damn open window, which always moves, is starting to move on, like I said early on in this video, rather than looking at the world as it is today, looking at the other side of the fence, the right-leaning side, looking at their arguments and asking himself, do they have anything to contribute here? Why are so many people voting against what I've obviously been pushing in my comic books for as long as I've been alive, or writing comic books anyway? Why are people starting to vote for people like Donald Trump, and why are people starting to go more to the right? Why is the left collapsing? Why is the left just becoming a stronghold in multicultural cities and university towns and university campuses full of leftist professors? Why is that happening? Why are the working classes starting to reject an ideology which, at its heart, at its core, is supposed to be representing them? It's Marxism. Isn't Marxism supposed to be about workers? It's not. It's about middle class intellectuals. So instead of looking at that and seeing, well, okay, why are there so many factory workers and normal people starting to reject my ideology? No, instead of doing that, which is difficult, and that'll mean that he has to change his mind on a few things and actually have to talk to evil people like me, maybe on the internet. What he's going to do is just going to compare his enemies to Adolf Hitler and Nazis, and go through the liberal checklist of all the evils that he's been learning about World War II from Hollywood movies since he was a little boy in I don't know, about primary school in the US. But since been a little boy at school, watching all the movies and reading all the history books, all produced by a certain tribe which dominates America still, particularly the cultural industry. Remember, as Breitbart said, politics is downstream from culture, and a culture which constantly reminds the children about Nazis is going to get grown children like Dan Abnett writing comic books where he's just going to keep reminding people about Nazis. So nothing ever changes. It's just the same old thing regurgitating over and over again. So with Aquaman 25, despite its awesome front cover, this is the moment when I have to jump off the comic book and say enough is enough. You haven't got the intellectual chops, Dan Abnett, to say anything about the world as it is today. All you can do is do the everyone's a Nazi thing, which is what you've been indoctrinated into since early childhood. So sorry, can't read your comic book anymore. You are not clever enough for someone like me. I like to read people who are more intellectually masterful, more... sorry, there's noise going outside. I like to read people who know more than I do, basically, at the end of the day. That's what I'm trying to say. I like to learn new things, change my mind about a few things, to get some more facts. And someone who's writing Nazis are bad is kind of something I got over a while back. I need to, challenge myself a bit more than that. So Dan Abnett, what's coming out of your brain, mate? It's not worth my time. Sorry, mate. Okay, so that's my review of Aquaman number 25. It's Dan Abnett reminding everyone that if you're not progressive, you're a Nazi, and I don't need that anymore. It's we've gone past that a long time ago. Dan's still stuck there. Okay, so thanks for watching my review. Don't debate the silly hat. Let me know what you think of the Aquaman comic book. Was it really a 10 out of 10 comic book? Come on. Let's be sensible. We are adults. We aren't children. I know it's a comic book, but comic books are read by adults nowadays, not kids. How can you read Aquaman number 25 and see it as anything more than just some old liberal trying to tell everybody that if you don't agree with me, you're a Nazi? That's what it is. Okay, take care, everyone, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.